Hello, hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Emily. This is my channel, Books for Life. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please make sure you hit that red button and hit that like button. So today I'm here to talk to you about a couple books that I want to read during 2020. I started my channel talking about books that were in my classroom library that I really wanted to read, and I've never gotten around to reading them, and that kind of has fallen to the wayside. So I really want to bring that back this year. So I have chosen 12 books that are from my classroom library, which is where we are now. So if the sound is a little funky, I'm sorry about that. But I have chosen 12 books from my classroom library, so books that I already own, that I want to make a point to read this year. So ideally, I will read one each month, but maybe I'll have a really good month where I read more than one. But here they are. So to start, I have 5 fantasy books that I want to read. The first one is The False Prince by Jennifer Nielsen. This was donated to my classroom from a alumni of my school, and I really do want to read it. I think it sounds really good. So this is about this boy who orchestrates to have 4 orphans impersonate the king's son so that he can take over the throne. So obviously he would be the false prince. It sounds intriguing. It sounds really good. It's not a very long book. It's less than 350 pages, and I think it sounds right up my alley. So the next book is a beloved series. I had never heard of it, and I think I bought this through the Scholastic Book Fair one year, but people seem to really, really love it, and that would be The Falconer by Elizabeth May. Now this is about this girl, and this takes place in 1844 in Edinburgh, and this girl is the son of a marquis. She can see the fae, and she's a part warrior, and she will go around and kill people, I guess, but I know it has to do with fairies and, historical in the sense that it takes place in 1844. So I think that this will have all the things that I'm looking for. People tend to really love this series. I know that it has a pretty good rating on Goodreads, and so I think that this would be really good as well. So the next book is The Deadlands by Benjamin Percy. So this is a post-apocalyptic world where we have this super flu that has wiped out everybody, and St. Louis is a sanctuary, and they put a wall around it, and so they are living there in this sanctuary trying to survive. And then word comes that across the Deadlands is a thriving civilization with crops and clean water and lots of people, and so they send a small group of people to go through the Deadlands to try to find out if that's actually true. And I think that there's a nuclear war as well going on here, so there's a lot of different things that's happening, and I think this is part of a series, but I'm not sure. But I will definitely be reading this during 2020. So the next fantasy book that I really want to read for my classroom library is Sleeping Giants by Sylviane Neuval. And so this is another series that I've heard great things about. It is about this girl named Rose, and she was riding her bike and she falls to the earth. And so she's stuck at the bottom of this hole, and there are all these weird carvings there. When the firemen come to rescue her, they notice that she's actually sitting in the palm of a gigantic metal hand. So this sends people on this journey to figure out what the heck this thing is. And when Rose is older, she joins this journey and begins researching it as well, trying to figure out where this thing came from. So the next book was told me that it is their guilty pleasure read, and I'm really intrigued by that. So when I was in college for my master's degree, I took a young adult literature course, and the woman who ran it, my professor, was in her 70s, and she was fabulous. I absolutely loved her, and she's yeah, this next book is one of my guilty pleasure reads, and I read it every year as just a guilty read. I'm what? And I bought this, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet, and that would be Wicked Lovely by Melissa Marr. I know it has to do with fae. I know that it's a fantasy world. This girl named Aslan follows these 3 fairy rules. So rule number 3 is do not stare at invisible fairies. Rule number 2 is don't speak to invisible fairies. And rule number 1 is don't ever attract their attention. So she has followed those rules and has maintained a relatively safe life, but I'm assuming something happens and she is no longer safe. So I'm excited to see what she meant by this being her guilty pleasure read. So those are all my fantasy books. So I have 5 fantasy books. The next 2 are graphic novels, and if you follow my channel, you know that graphic novels really are not my favorite to read, but I do need to give them a try. I need to figure this out. And so the first one is Hereville, How Mirka Got Her Sword by Barry Dwight. No idea if I'm saying that right. It says, yet another troll fighting 11-year-old Orthodox Jewish girl. So it sounds really cute. It says that she's a spunky, strong-willed 11-year-old girl who isn't interested in knitting lessons from her stepmother or how to find a husband advice from her sister or you better not warnings from her brother. There's only one thing Mirka does want is to fight dragons. But she'll need a sword, and therein lies the tale. So I think it sounds cute. I like the art style, and I will definitely be reading this. Maybe even for a readathon. It is a quicker read because it will be a graphic novel, but yeah, we'll try it out. So this next book I learned about through BookTube a couple years ago, and I bought it because of it. I can't even tell you who it was because it's been that long, and it's been in my classroom library. I've had countless students pick it up and love it, and this is Cucumber Quest, The Donut Kingdom by GGDG. Yeah. The art looks so cute. You have like these little animal characters and they're going on a quest. So what's not to like? So I have one historical fiction book on this list, and it is by an author who I've been really interested in reading more by. I actually just got one of her books for Christmas. I'm filming this like 2 days after Christmas. And I am really interested in this. I have no idea if the ratings are good or not, but this is Grave Mercy by Robin LaFevers. So I actually just got her Courting Darkness book for Christmas, and I'm really interested in this. So this is a historical fiction and fantasy book. This is about this girl named Esme, and she gets out of an arranged marriage, and then she learns that the god of death has given her powers, and she uses those powers as a way to claim a new life. So she trains as an assassin and becomes a handmaiden to death. So historical fiction in the sense that, this takes place in the past, but definitely some fantastical elements to it. It's a chunky book. It's over 500 pages long, but I'm really hoping that I will enjoy it. I do have an audio version available on my Libby app, so I might listen to this and not just read it physically, but I'm here for this. I think this sounds really good. So I have 4 books left. One is a mystery horror, and the other 3 are all contemporary. So my mystery horror is Took by Mary Downing Hahn, and this is a ghost story. I will probably read this in October, but the hand alone is extremely creepy. So this is about these 2 siblings, Daniel and his sister Erica, who have to move to this new town, and they are not happy about this move. When they move, all of these locals tell them all these terrible horror stories about this witch, and they write it off as nonsense. And Erica, the sister, begins withdrawing further into herself and clinging to this dolly that she has. Her parents are kind of depressed about the move too. No one is really happy here. And then all of a sudden Erica disappears, and it's up to Daniel to figure out where she is, but he knows that she has been took. And that's in quotes in the back. So I don't know why it's took and not taken, but there you go. So this next book is another really well-loved book on BookTube, and obviously I have not gotten to it, but I have owned it for many, many years, and this is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I think that lots of people love Rainbow Rowell, between her, her Carry On book, and the only one that by her that I've ever read is Eleanor and Park. So this is a coming-of-age story that takes place in college. It is about these 2 twin sisters, Kath, and I can't remember her sister's name, but Kath is a Simon Snow fan, which I believe is a series, like a children's series that she grew up reading and rereading and writing fan fiction for, and just has completely immersed herself in this world. And when they go off to college, her twin sister says that she doesn't want to room with her anymore. So Kath is left to room by herself and navigate college life all on her own. And she is just trying to figure things out. And it sounds really good. And she's obviously a fangirl for this Simon Snow series and college life. So I think it sounds cute. I want to see what all the hype is about and maybe read some other books by Rainbow Rowell, but I'll dive into this one first. So the next book is Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta, and this is about this girl who, when she is 11, she is abandoned by her mother on Jellicoe Road. And she's trying to figure out like who she is, where she's coming from, why her mother abandoned her, how she met this woman named Hannah, who I think like became like her mother figure in her life. I don't really know yet. But it's about this girl who's like trying to like confront her past and figure out like where she comes from and who she is. All right, and my final book is a Libba Bray book, and this is Beauty Queens. I loved my Libba Bray binge reading when I read The Diviners, and I'm so excited for book number 4 to come out, and I want to read more by her. I don't know if this is a well-loved one, but it is a contemporary one. I've had it on my shelves. It sounds pretty interesting. So this is about these 50 contestants of the Miss Teen beauty pageant. They're on their way to an island where they get to like film in bikini shots and all that stuff for the beauty pageant and get their tan on, but their plane ends up crashing on a deserted island and they are left to fend for themselves, 50 beauty queens. And what do? Do you keep practicing for your talent portion of the beauty pageant, or do you survive and get food and do what you have to do? So it's their story. It kind of sounds fun, cute. I'm sure it will be pretty predictable, I guess, but I think it sounds like an interesting book. And because I love The Diviners so much, I really want to read more by Libba Bray. So these are the 12 classroom library books that I want to read during 2020, and hopefully I will get to all of them. I'm not going to bring them home. I'm going to leave them here and just kind of like pick them up as I can. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be back with a bookish video soon. As always, keep reading.